Welcome to the show, everybody. You're listening to the I Am Real Estate Show with Ray Smith, Sandra Johnson, and Don Geisler from Indy Realty. Don is our designated broker and owner of the company Indy Realty, the brokerage Indy Realty. Later on the program, we'll have Shanae Casper, who is the operation manager for Florida Post from Home Inspection, a local franchise here in Tucson. But I thought today we continue our updates with the NAR settlement and how it's affecting the real estate world.
So, Don, what have you got for us?
Tell
me something good.
Tell you something good. Well, there's always lots going on with the NAR settlement out there. So I guess the appropriate lead off is that as of right now, things are rolling along as planned and as expected. That the judge in the case has expressed satisfaction with the settlement, which means that the changes to our processes, procedures regarding co-op fees, commissions, stuff like that, and the documents that go along with those things will be rolling out in August. Our local MLS is targeting August. So that's interesting. So the good part of that is the Arizona Association of Realtors is already in the process of crafting and revising forms that are appropriate to that change. Regarding representation and compensation. Those are all in the works, progressing along as if things all kind of stay the same.
Right.
Not stay the same. Change as expected.
Right.
Okay. So the other variable.
And that change is?
That change is that in the MLS, listing brokerages will not be allowed to offer compensation to buyer's agents, buyer representatives. So that was the crux of the case, is that in the MLS there will not be allowed to be co-op fees listed in the MLS. So
not that sellers aren't allowed to offer to pay compensation, they just can't do it through the MLS.
Yes. So it's still perfectly legal for both listing brokers and sellers to offer compensation to buyer's brokers, just not through the MLS. So the wild card on this, just to cover all the bases, is that the Department of Justice has expressed interest, has expressed dissatisfaction with the settlement, which is that they are allegedly or supposedly angling toward complete decoupling of commissions, which means that sellers and listing brokers would not be allowed to offer any sort of compensation to buyers brokers during the course of the transaction. So it's interesting because, again, my understanding...
That's tough, Don.
It's very tough.
It's really tough because I'm sitting here, and we talked about this before. I'm sorry to interrupt, but just as I hear you speak about that, all I'm thinking about is the people who don't make $500,000 a year, who don't make $400,000 a year, who just want that American goal of owning a home. You're taking that. You had them look at that window. That's a pretty significant amount of funds they'd have to come up at closing.
It is, and the fear, and it's a very legitimate fear, is that middle class and lower wage earner buyers will forego representation, not be able to afford to be properly represented, and then therefore will be taken advantage of, will not be appropriately represented, will not have anybody that has a fiduciary duty to them, and nobody on the planet can say, oh, that was an unintended consequence of what we did. Going in, we are telling you that those buyers will be shut out of adequate representation in a lot of cases.
We talked about that, Don, I think on the last show, and it's just, I'm trying to find a way to be calm and just make sure that my frustration does not hurt over the air. But the thing that I see is that these people are going, it's like we talk about being lawyers. You have a lawyer on one side who knows everything about the law. You have the lawyer on the other side who knows everything about the law. They're fighting it out to stick for whatever reason on the court. Now you have a person who knows all about real estate on one side, another person who knows nothing about real estate on the other side, and you expect it to be fair. It's impossible for it to be fair no matter how you slice it.
It is impossibly fair. So I can say, to kind of ease everybody's mind, and first off, any changes that come up, we will deal with.
Yes.
Like first off, change is part of life, just rolling out of bed every morning.
Sure it is.
And so however it changes, we will deal with it, and we will provide representation to buyers, and we will serve our community, period. Okay? So we're committed to that. And we know, us in this room, we know that we are committed to that, and that's going to happen.
Yes.
So just to flesh out a little bit more regarding the Department of Justice, and I'll emulate you, Raymond, and try not to let my frustrations show there. But this deal with the Department of Justice has already been done and put to bed. So I've said this, I've explained this before, but the National Association of Realtors has worked hand in hand with the Department of Justice for years along the way, because they would be like, this looks like antitrust. And the NAR would be like, okay, well, tell us how to do it right. And they vetted everything out time after time after time. It was done. It was in court. It was finished. And so now, in light of these new developments and in light of the political environment, which I won't get political, but I'll just say in light of the political environment, the Department of Justice has decided they're going to come after NAR again. And in order to be allowed to do so, they had to go to court. And the court said, no, this has already been resolved.
Right.
Leave them alone. And so what the Department of Justice did is they went to an appeals court. And it's kind of our society now, right? You get told no, you find another court somewhere else. And they went to an appeals court, and the appeals court said, yeah, you can reopen this with NAR. And so that they're coming back, and it's very politicized. Okay, but what I can tell you is we have dealt with this and worked hand in hand with the DOJ. So it's very, very disappointing for the DOJ in order to be able to score political points in an election year, to be able to come back and say, we're going to reopen this. And the question was, why, Judge? Why are they allowed to come back? And DOJ just said, because it pleased us to do so, basically. So, but I can tell you that NAR is going back to court, just to going back to that appeals panel saying, no, like we already have worked with this and worked through it, and it's a done deal. So all of that is still in the works,
right?
But if DOJ gets their way, like the settlement may not happen, like the terms of the settlement may not happen. I mean, who knows? But as of right now, everything is playing forward as if the terms of the settlement are going forward,
right?
And we have those changes in mind already.
And as you said, the forms are already being reworked.
Yes.
We know it's coming, and we are preparing as well. We're going to continue to serve our clients and do it in the best way that we can.
We are. And I could say, and the reason that we haven't rolled out change and we haven't marketed, here's a new way we're going to represent buyers, because we just don't know what changes are really going to happen. I can tell you that the Northwest MLS, which I believe is, it's in the Northwest of the country. And so I'd be speaking out of turn if I say exactly where they're at. But a very significant MLS in the country that is non-realtor owned, is non-NAR owned MLS, it's a member-owned MLS, this week opted out of the settlement. And they said, we're not implementing this stuff because we've already addressed it. We've already taken away the requirement that compensation is to be posted in the MLS. We've already dealt with this, and we're satisfied with what we do. So a very significant MLS this week opted out of the settlement. So are more people going to follow? Are more MLSs going to follow? There's a lot. I choose to be fascinated. Like instead of choosing to be wound up and scared and nervous, choose to be fascinated, because it is truly fascinating.
Yeah, we're back on the other side. We'll be talking with Shanae Casper, who is the operation manager for Pillar to Post Home Inspections, a local franchise here in Tucson. Hi, you're back to the I Am Real Estate Show with Ray, Sandra, and Don. And listen to our first segment. I hope our whole goal with that was to get you knowledgeable about things, not to scare you or put you in fear or anything else, because what you have here is qualified, amazing agents who's here to help you here and understand this process and see you through it. That's why you give us a call, and we'll be able to help you with any issues you have. So don't be afraid to come into the market. We're ready here. We're here, ready to help you.
Well said.
Okay, we'll make sure I got that. Okay, we have on our show today Shanae Casper, who's the operation manager for Pillar to Post Home Inspection, which is a local franchise here in Tucson. So how you doing today, Shanae?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, I'm great. Last time, Chad's your husband. We told Chad you missed the show. We kind of upset you didn't show up today, but your better half showed up. So thank you very much for that part.
Yeah, I'd like to think I'm the better looking one at least, right?
Absolutely.
He,
yes.
he has a face for radio, so we'll let him keep that.
Tell us a little bit about how you guys got started in home inspections.
Sure. So Chad he'd been an employee. You know, everyone starts, you get a job, you're an employee, and he was just really feeling like he wanted to leave a legacy for our family, for Tucson, for our community. So he started looking into what could he do that would be important to other people. And the thing we tell people about Pillar to Post is we want to ensure confident home ownership. We want that big decision to be as comfortable as it can be.
Yeah.
And it can be really scary to buy a house. And just like Don was talking a little bit about, you know, we want to make sure that we're helping you, that we're giving you all that knowledge. You know, real estate agents, they know the process. They know what's required. And one of those things is getting a home inspection and making sure that you're not buying something that, whether it's intentional or not, that has a lot of problems that you're going to find the day after you move in.
Right.
Nobody wants to be on the documentary of the
Nobody
money
wants
pit,
to be
right?
on that show, right? Nobody wants to buy the money pit, whether it was intentional by the seller or not.
Right.
You don't want to be on the buying end of that. And so that is our ultimate goal, is to help the community make sure that they're making those decisions for confident home ownership. And so he came home and he said, this is what I want to do. And I said, all right, let's make it happen.
So how many franchises are in Tucson, but how many do you guys own?
So we own a territory here in Tucson that covers Pima and Cochise County.
Okay.
And then we also acquired a piece of Maricopa and Pinal County as well.
Nice.
So we own two separate territories. Over the span of the country, there are over 500 franchise owners with Pillar to Post in the U.S. and Canada.
And how many inspectors do you guys have working for you?
So we have Chad, who is a licensed home inspector. He mostly runs the business now. We have 3 licensed inspectors that are full-time.
Nice.
And then
Okay.
we're bringing on 2 right now that are in the licensing process, which Arizona is actually one of the most difficult states besides Texas to get a license. So in the state of Arizona, you can feel a little more confident that there's licensing involved and there are things in place to make sure the home inspector knows what they're doing.
One of the things about home inspection, people need to realize is that it's a personal touch. What I learned from Pillar and Post is that you have multiple opportunities or multiple varieties of programs or process they can go through. Can you name a couple of those, and what do you have to offer to the client?
Yeah, absolutely. So we offer, something unique about us is we offer 3 different home inspection packages.
Okay.
All of them are above and beyond the minimum state standards of a home inspection by the state of Arizona. So we do more than the state says we have to, because we want to make sure, again, that confident home ownership. We want people to feel comfortable. One of the things that we do is we have infrared cameras. You know, we're humans. We can't see behind walls. We can't see the future.
Right.
But we can use an infrared camera to help detect, is there missing or inconsistent insulation. That's not something that visually I can see looking at a wall.
Right.
But the infrared camera can help me see that. Or, you know, is there moisture in the wall that maybe my moisture meter didn't pick up? Is there a spot that temperature difference is there, and why is it there? And now we can start having the real estate agent call in more specialists to help figure that out, so that, again, we're making that educated decision about the home.
Okay. So there's 3 different packages. Could you talk no pricing? We don't know the different types. I know each of them has a different level of things that you do to them.
Yeah, so our plus package is our state, is kind of our minimum inspection, our lowest. It's still a great inspection. So we're going to check everything. We're going to go up on the roof if it's safe to do so. We're going to go in the crawl space if there is one. Check everything we can visually see. We're going to turn everything on, turn everything off, make sure it's all there structurally. There's over 1,600 items in that plus inspection. The premium, now we're adding the infrared. We're adding a measured floor plan. We'll take 360 shots of the house. We'll give you a measured floor plan, saving the realtor time and money, because now they don't have to take the client back to the house 1,000 times to measure to see if the couch will fit or the TV will fit, right?
Understood.
So now they get that measured floor plan. They get access to different third-party accounts that help with warranties, that help with recalls on their appliances, on their electronics. They can access different manuals for it. They can order parts for it, even get service repairmen out. And then our Prestige, that adds some, now we're getting into lab testing for air quality.
Okay.
How much mold is in the air in the home compared to the exterior of the home? What allergens are in the home? That if you're someone who struggles with those things and is sensitive, you'd want to know that before you purchase that home. So then we add those on top to that Prestige.
If I remember right when Chad was here, he also said that you guys are thinking about doing termite inspections and do other things than that?
So all of our home inspectors are licensed to do termite inspections, and we work with local companies in the state of Arizona to kind of parent us in that. So they still come with a proposal for treatment. They still come with all of that stuff that a normal termite, but now you don't have to call a second person to come out. We do sewer scopes. We can do pool inspections. So lots of things that maybe a standard home inspection or a home inspector couldn't do.
Yeah, with the termites, do you guys provide a WDI report also?
We do. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, sure. He looks at me now.
I
He's
just want-
like, I'm out of stuff.
I just want to
Sandra.
sound
What you
smart.
got? What
I
you
just
got?
want a chance to sound smart, like I knew what I was talking about. You know, I'm in real estate. I know a little bit about real estate and home inspection. You got to remember, my wife also did this prior. She was in the home inspection business, so she knows a lot about it also.
I do. It's kind of a disadvantage at times because it's been a while, but also the kinds of questions may not be the same that someone who's just been representing clients would ask. But so, yeah.
3 packages we were talking about. With those 3 packages we're talking about, how often? So my question is, with those 3 packages, how often do you sit there and which one do you think people go with the most? And is it always going with the what's this last one called?
Prestige.
Prestige, yeah.
So
The
the
Prestige.
Prestige doesn't get used as often because of the lab fees associated with those tests. If people aren't super sensitive to that, they
There
tend
are
to.
so many people, though, that have
There are, and they don't
sensitivities.
realize that in Tucson, there's so much mold and moisture in the air compared to other places. They think, oh, it's dry here, it's Arizona, but it's really not true. There's mold everywhere in Arizona. The premium, that middle package, is the one that really we recommend.
Yeah, that's what I meant. What
and
you
that's the
recommend,
one.
yeah.
That's the one that, like, if my mom were buying a house tomorrow, I'd be like, you need the premium.
Right.
Right. That's the one we recommend. That's the one that we encourage people to do. But everyone's at different budgets, and that's the other reason for those 3
Yes.
packages, is that a home inspection does come out of the buyer's pocket at the time of inspection. So it's something that they do need to budget for and be aware of, because it's not something that gets lumped into the mortgage or that the sellers pay for. Typically it's the buyers out of their pocket.
Yeah, and
so.
one thing that you bring it up is sometimes when you sit back and have a home inspection, the seller or maybe that house came back on the market and there was a home inspection done before, it has some other stuff on it. So, but you still want to have your own done. So, buying the lowest package is probably the best thing to do. At least have your own thing going.
Absolutely, yeah. We always recommend getting a home inspection done, because the home inspection gives you a snapshot of the condition of the home at the time of inspection. So if there's been a big rainstorm, if the sellers have done anything to the home in between, moved in, moved out, there is a possibility that things have happened to that home since that other home inspection.
Yeah.
So we do always recommend that you own your own report, that you get that done.
Yeah, you're listening to Sinead Casper, the operations manager for Pillar to Post Home Inspection and a local franchise here in Tucson. Thanks for spending part of your afternoon with the Johnson Smith team at Indy Realty. You're listening to the I Am Real Estate Show on KBOI 1030 AM. Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to the I Am Real Estate Show. You're looking to buy or sell a home. If you have any questions concerning real estate, please contact the Johnson Smith team, part of the Indy Realty brokerage. You can reach Sandra at 520-850-1725. You can reach myself at 520-904-7711, or you can reach Danielle 520-373-6864. We're here with Sinead Casper, who is the operations manager for home inspection, Pillar to Post home
I
inspection.
was going to say, I just heard she was the boss. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I just heard.
I heard that too, so
Well, you were mentioning before we went to break that when you were at a home doing that inspection, it's kind of a snapshot in time. So when you're talking with people that maybe you've done inspections for, you want to talk a little bit about their expectations, I guess, because usually they're doing that inspection probably a good 30 days before they actually move in.
Yeah. So a lot of times they don't necessarily remember by the time they move in what's going on. And so our reports come as a digital copy. They get a PDF of that report. And it comes in a folder with all of the other things that we did. So if we did a termite, that WDI is in there. If we did a sewer scope, that video's in there. They have access to that for as long as they have internet. We also print a copy and put it in a binder and give it to them at the home inspection. So they have that as well. So, and Pillar to Post being a national franchise, we have access to all those databases. So I actually had a client call a different franchise owner had done their inspection 25 years ago. They wanted a copy of that report.
25
I hunted
years
it
ago.
down for them, and I got it for them. And that's one of the cool things about being a franchise owner is you have that big corporate backing, but you can still have that small town family-owned feel in your business to where you can give that client interaction, you can give that customer service, and that community support and involvement that you want in a small business.
Well, I think a lot of times too, when you're at the home and you're doing the inspection, people think, oh, that's no big deal. I can fix that. Oh, that's no big deal. And then once they have to get their tools out and they're getting that paintbrush out or whatever it is, all of a sudden those things that didn't feel so big, they have forgotten about. And now they have a honey-do list that they don't want.
Sure. Yeah, we love being a part of the community, and we're involved in B&I and different organizations so we can help, refer people out. Oh, you didn't think that was a big deal. Now you want to fix it. Let me get you in touch with a handyman or a contractor or those things. But the other thing too is we have third-party companies that we work with on the front end that give them estimates for those things based on national averages.
Okay.
So that even on the front end when they're filling out that Binzer with their agent, they can say, oh, well, this says it's on average a $3,000 repair. Maybe this is a bigger deal than we thought when we were there.
Okay. Yeah.
To kind of help give that gravity to the situation so they understand maybe what that would cost to repair.
And
That-
a little extra guidance
Yeah.
through the process.
Yeah, Don, as our brokerage, people need to understand how important a home inspection is. Can you weigh in on that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's one of the most important parts of the process where, like for lots of different reasons. And let's just start with the obvious that the buyer has to know what they're getting into. I mean, we are not qualified to inspect the home.
Right.
We're experts in real estate contracts, but we're not physical experts when it comes to the home. So we can't guarantee or warranty or promise a buyer that a home is in a particular condition and that there aren't things out of place, out of sorts that we can't see. So critically important for the buyer to have a full picture of what they're getting into prior to closing. And, we're in business so that people are happy. Like we don't really chase checks around. We chase making people happy. That's sort of what we do. That's how we build our business. That's how we're fulfilled in life. So you don't want somebody to be miserable after the fact. So the home inspection is such a critical part of it. And having a great home inspector is such a pivotal, important part of the escrow process.
Agreed.
Because things can really go sideways. Everything from qualifications to what their particular hot buttons are to how they present information, to a buyer. That these are the things that can be detrimental to a transaction. And, I'm a believer, please let the buyer know everything, but please tell them in a way that's constructive.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Kind of like looking for that lifelong mate. If we,
In a home
if we
inspection.
don't have a little bit of grace there, you're going to be single for the rest of your life, right? Houses there's stuff wrong with them. There's no matter if it's
Absolutely.
brand new, there's stuff wrong with them.
We do new build home inspections too, and those home inspection reports are multiple page too.
Yeah.
There is no perfect house.
And that's the one thing we want to make sure everyone understands. That's the whole idea of having Below the Post as your advocate. Don used that word earlier today, as an advocate for the buyer to make sure that when you're going into this process, you're walking hand in hand with the buyer through this thing, through
Absolutely.
the whole 30-day, through the whole
Absolutely.
buyer process.
Yeah.
And you mentioned earlier the infrared, and that has been such a huge game changer for home inspections because there are a lot of things that occur behind the wall. I don't think we talked about necessarily like looking at an electric panel. So you can look for water, for insulation, for wiring. There are so many things that, unless there was some visible evidence on the exterior, you would have no way of knowing if it wasn't for that infrared.
Absolutely. Yeah. The infrared is definitely one of those things that it gives us, we kind of call it our superpower, right? It gives us that x-ray vision. It lets us be a little bit more than human
Right.
to look at that house and to get a better picture of what that house looks like at the time of the inspection.
And you guys
shouldn't-
are able to capture that as a photograph as well. And
Yeah, we
and put
include
it
those
into
in the
report.
reports. Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sinead, can you tell people how they can get a hold of Below the Post home
Sure.
inspection?
Yeah, so our phone number is 520-271-3005. We also have a website, chadcasper.pillartopost.com, and you can actually book a home inspection on our website, start to finish. So real estate doesn't really keep normal business hours. Real estate agents get transaction approvals back at all hours of the night. They can go on and they can book that inspection, but it allows us to have, that family time, give our employees that family time, but you can absolutely book online as well. See our pricing, see all the services we offer, or you can give us a call and we'll take care of you over the phone as well.
When you're looking at pricing, is that going to go based on the size of the home, age of the home? What other factors are there?
So size of the home and age of the home are the two biggest. We also look at how many units, so we can do multi-unit, duplex. The state of Arizona actually recently changed a little bit of the scope for home inspectors, so we can do larger unit properties now as well. But the other thing is location too. How far my guy's going to have to drive to get there outside of that normal kind of Tucson area. So there may be a slight fee associated outside of our normal area, but the two big ones are the age and the size of the home.
And so all that can be done online. It'll calculate it for them, and they can see exactly what that dollar amount's going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have one more segment, and we're here with Shanae Casper, who's with Home Inspection, Pillar to Pillar Home Inspection Team. You're listening to the Iron Real Estate Show. Today we have the Indy Realty team, which is Ray, Sandra, and Don Geisler, who is the designated broker for Indy Realty. We also have Danielle. She's not here today. We want to make sure we mention her name so she don't feel left out. And we'll see you. This is for Danielle. We'll see you on the other side. Hi, everybody. We're back with the last segment. We're here with Shanae Casper, who is the operations manager for Pillar to Post Home Inspections. We also have Ray Smith, Sandra Johnson, and Don Geisler from Indy Realty, who's located at 7255 East Tango Verde, home of the brokerage. I just made that up.
I never know what he's going to say when he starts something like that. It's like, what's going to come out of his mouth?
I have no
next?
idea. I got nervous myself. I'm like, I'm not sure what the heck I'm going to say. But I'll say something.
Home of the brokerage. It's good.
Hey, home of the brokerage that is currently doing a backpack collection.
We are. So Indy Realty has taken TAR and YPN, which stands for Young Professionals Network, in case anybody is going to ask, has initiated a backpack drive. So this is back to school, an initiative to benefit needy people, headed back to school. So they have put together a backpack drive, and Indy Realty has picked that up and run with it. And so if you are interested in participating, please drop off your new/unused backpacks at the office, 7255 East Tanco Verde Road. We will be happy to take them, and we will get them to where they're going. And then we will that goes on through June 25th. So you can bring those backpacks in all the way up to June 25th. And then we will be having an event where they actually stuff the backpacks with school supplies.
Nice.
So it's very cool. It's a very thoughtful way to serve the community, get the kiddos kicked off on their new school year, with a smile on their face, feeling good about themselves, and just a really great way to help out the community.
And this is not your first. We did this last year too, didn't we, Don? We did something similar
last year.
We did school supplies.
We did school supplies last year,
which included backpacks. So
yes.
Yeah. So if you drop the Johnson Smith team name, we're matching donations up to 25 backpacks. So I think we're sitting at about 14 right now.
Very
so
awesome.
Definitely mention that you want to be part of the match program with the Johnson Smith team.
Yeah, and I can tell you that we are hell bent on. So TAR and YPN has a goal of X number of backpacks for the entire drive, for the entire association, the entire organization. And we at Indy Realty are hell bent on achieving that number ourselves. And we are more than halfway there. So very proud of the way that our agents come together, support the community, take these things really seriously. So you can always reach me at 520-869-2376. Again, I'm Don Geisler. I'm the designated broker. So if you have any questions about the backpack drive, please feel free to give me a buzz. Yeah.
And if you're looking for a place to call home, give him a call for that too, because you are hiring agents.
We are certainly hiring top quality agents, and we're just so proud of our model and our organization, the people that we have under our roof. It is a wonderful place to work. I promise that you won't regret it. Give me a call.
All right, Shanae, back to you, if you don't mind. You talked about training for your inspectors. You know how long the training takes?
So they have to take a class. It's the national requirements is to take the classes, and that takes about 200 hours to finish the
Wow.
classes. And then after that, they have to pass the national exam. The state of Arizona also requires 30 what are called parallel inspections, or like on the job. So they have
Yes.
to be with an inspector for 30 inspections. And at that point, then they can apply for their license. And there's other things, background checks and all that kind of stuff. We usually tell people it takes a good 3 to 6 months to get licensed as a home inspector.
I need the people to know how intense it is to become a home inspector. It's not just a piece of cake to become one.
Not in Arizona, it's not. That is correct.
And even if they pass the test, not all inspectors really are equal, because everybody has a different history or a different work experience that they kind of bring to the table.
Correct. Yeah, we're always looking for somebody that's teachable for the skill stuff, but that is a good person in general, right? We want them to be a people person. Like Don was talking about, we don't want a home inspector that, we want them to tell them everything wrong with the house, but we don't want to be a deal killer, right? We don't want to scare them on the small stuff, but we also don't want to not put the appropriate weight behind the important things.
Yes.
And
yes.
having that conversation and that relationship. So we're always looking for people. And we can train them how to be a good home inspector, but you got to be a people person first.
Here's a question for you. Are you looking for people? If you are, how can they get a hold of you if they want to be a home inspector?
We are always looking for good people
Cool.
because we want to grow. Like I said, we just acquired some territory up in the Phoenix area, and we don't have anybody up there yet. So we're definitely always looking for good home inspectors. They can give our office a call, 520-271-3005, and they can chat with Chad about the opportunity, and he can set them up with what they need to get started.
Do they have to be licensed already, or are you willing to help them?
Not
through that?
necessarily. If it's the right person and the right fit, we will help them through that process. It just kind of depends on where they're at and how we feel about them and, you know, the timing. If the timing is correct to where our capacity can support one. So we definitely don't want our current inspectors to lose their full time. So we want to make sure we're appropriately giving everybody the right amount of work.
We're talking to Shanae Casper, who is the operations manager for Pillar to Post Home Inspections here at a local business in Tucson. Tell me, Shanae, what does an operation manager do at Pillar to Post?
So my main role is I manage the office staff. So we have a full-time office person as well as a couple of on-call kind of evening weekend people that help us out. And then I'm the back-end person. I'm the policy and procedure. I'm HR, bookkeeping, accounting, paychecks. I am a certified bookkeeper on the background, so I keep all the money in place while Chad's out talking to everybody and being the face of the company.
He is quite a charming guy. We can
He
say
is.
he has a face for radio, but he's pretty charming.
If you've ever seen him out in his Buddy the Elf costume at Christmas time, doing
I have not
Toys for
seen
Tots.
that.
He does Toys for Tots at Christmas time. He gets his Buddy the Elf costume on. He's the right height. He's 6'5", so he looks the part. And then he'll get the kids dressed up with him, or 2 kids will go out with him delivering stuff to different places. So he's definitely that way. He also has a lime green suit. Pillar to Post colors are navy blue and lime green. He has a lime green full head to toe suit that he'll wear to events. So it's hard to miss him. He's definitely got the personality to be a business owner for
I
sure.
have to ask a personal question about Chad. Does Chad golf?
Chad does not golf, but
Okay.
we do have a couple of inspectors that love to golf. So when it's a golfing thing, Chad usually opts to drive the cart and do the talking and let our inspectors have fun on the golf course.
That was a really important question, Raymond.
Yeah.
Yeah. With that being said, we're sitting here talking with Shanae, I'm going to say Shanae O'Connor.
That was your fault, Shanae. You
I'm
put it in his
sorry.
head.
I'm
Did. You said it out
sorry.
loud. I thought
I
it too.
did.
We're talking to Shanae Casper, who is the operation manager for Pillar to Post Home Inspections here, a local company in Tucson. We also have Don Geisler, who is our designated broker and owner of Indy Realty, also a local company here in Tucson, local brokerage here in Tucson. I was talking to both of you guys earlier. What do you guys think we need to do as far as what's the next thing you guys are going to do as far as Pillar to Post to make sure get your name out there for the company?
Well, the biggest thing that we do is we create relationships with realtors.
Great,
So we
great.
do, Women's Council of Realtors. We go to TAR events.
Yes.
We try and be really involved in the community because the realtors are the one guiding that transaction. We were talking before about that knowledge of real estate law, contract, all of that. So we want to have good relationships with good realtors so that when that time comes, that they're in that situation, that they're ready for a home inspection. They know they can trust us. They have a relationship with us, and that's who they're going to recommend to their clients to use.
Great. And
Now,
Don,
if anybody's listening, if you just want to know the condition of your home because you've got some questions, I know one of the things that I think is hardest for homeowners is if you have a roofing company come out, you may have someone tell you, I have a $500 repair here, and someone else will come out and now you've got a $23,000 quote, and you're like, how do I know that I'm being treated fairly?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Do you guys take those calls and
Absolutely. We'll do home maintenance inspections. We do like aging in place inspections. So if you have a loved one that wants to stay in their home, but you're worried that the home's not in great shape, we'll come out and do a home inspection irregardless of a real estate transaction or not. You know, we'll come and take care of you. And we are an unbiased third party. We're not the ones that are actually fixing the roof. So we're not trying to sell you on something beyond the home inspection. You know, and so because of that, you get that unbiased third party of this is the condition it's in. It's safe, it's not safe, it's functional, operational, or it's not. And, you know, this is what you need to do to get it fixed.
hey, Don, how do we get a hold of you?
So I can always be reached at 520-869-2376. Excuse me. We always encourage anybody and everybody to pop into the office anytime. We are at 7255 East Tanque Verde Road, right across the street from Udall Park.
Sandra, you want to put up some shout outs?
I did, but first of all, before we do that, Shanae, how do they get a hold of you again?
So 520-271-3005, or you can visit our website at chadcasper.pillartopost.com.
Thanks for being with us, Sinead.
Yeah,
You mentioned
absolutely.
aging in place, and I will tell you, we just moved my mom, who's 87. Congratulations to her.
Right,
She's going to
absolutely.
hit 88 in July. And we just moved her from living on her own to Fellowship Square. And I have to tell you that my mom is so happy, and what a great place that has been. And we couldn't say enough good about the way that they've helped her transition and what all they have to offer. But we also were able to use Primavera Works for laborers because we kind of were going, who's going to fill this truck? We're too old for this. And they sent out a crew of 2 guys, and they did a fabulous job and really were so respectful with her. So we just wanted to, on air, thank them for that.
I think people need to know that Primavera is a nonprofit, too.
They are, yes. And they're putting people to work that maybe just need that extra little bit of help. And whether you need landscaping or cleaning, move out services, they've got people that you can hire for a 4-hour minimum, and they'll come out and take care of that. And they really have done really well for us on a couple of projects.
Yes, they
so
sure
we
have.
just wanted to do a shout out to them. Then we want to thank everyone who's sponsoring the show. Indy Realty, Pioneer Title, Rego Pest Prevention, Pillar to Post. And I feel like I forgot one. Who did I forget? John Spur with Inspired Life Mortgage. We can't forget John.
Mhm.
If you need any of their services, you can reach out to us, or you can find their information on our website.
Did you say
as
Indy
well.
Realty?
I did say Indy Realty.
Okay, let me make sure.
You
We want to
bet.
thank Sinead Casper and also Don Geiger for being out here with us. Don's going to be with us every week because we want to make sure that as long as NAR settlement is going on, if Don has time, he's going to come out here and be with us. So I thank everybody for being on the show. We're hoping you guys out there are having a great Saturday. Please drink a lot of water, stay safe, and remember, Johnson Smith team at Indy Realty. Give us a call.